realize how much of a luxury we have.
You can make a call.
Yes, sir. Reach Over Culture podcast. We are here. This is 5. This is gonna be 53. No, 54. This is gonna be 54 when this drop. 54 Reach Over Culture podcast. I am Rock, coming to you like I do every Reach Over Culture podcast episode. I am here with my brethrens, Mr. Moses Chavez. And Mr. Robert Burrell.
Yep. It's popping.
Fellas, how y'all doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Feeling good.
Solid week.
Yeah.
Solid week.
Yep.
Man, we recently had a huge like snowstorm, ice storm. How did y'all fare through that? Like how'd y'all? I mean, we missed a couple days of work.
Yeah, I missed 2 days.
Rob, you still out there every day?
I was working every day. I think I ended up getting like 1 day off.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
That's only because like
come on, man.
A lot of our clients are closed.
So
it's like naturally we had to close. Like we had no choice. But yeah, I had 1 day off. But besides that, I was out there working. So,
sheesh, man. I mean, because it was worse. I would be more afraid to drive at night than during the day, especially in that weather.
That turnpike was so bad. It was horrific. Like it was like I could barely. I was going like 25, 30. It was bad. It was so bad. But
well, thankfully you made it through.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully you made it through. Thankfully we all.
Yeah.
Most of us made it through. Prayers up for those in Texas who are still struggling with, the loss of that huge wreck. All of the people out there experiencing homelessness during that time. It's crazy because I was talking to my moms about our Katrina experience and how, when we lost the crib and, most of our clothes and stuff like that, we running around with the same 2-3 pair of drawers, same 2 pair of shorts and socks and, some sandals and some sneakers just to run around in. The world moves on, but those who it directly affects, that stick with you.
Facts.
You know what I mean? So like, Oklahoma was a happy state this week because we was up in the 50s and 60s all week and the snow melted and everything is back to business. But, I was just reminded that people lost things in this. You know what I mean? Homes got flooded. People's waters are just now getting worked on, turned on. And so,
power outage. So prayers up for everybody that is still affected by this past week's weather. Because, some people aren't getting people back from this weather.
Yeah.
And every time this week rolls around or this time of year rolls around, they got to remember or constantly see footage of that wreck on Facebook or something like that. So prayers up, man, because I know the world might move on from that. The states might move on for that. But, some people, even COVID, people who've lost people to COVID, they're never moving on from it. We can get a vaccine, the world can open back up, stadiums can be packed again. But if you've lost somebody to COVID, you're never moving on from that. It just is what it is. So prayers up for those. Reach Over Culture podcast. We are here. We don't have any sponsors today, but if you are interested in sponsoring the Reach Over Culture podcast, make sure you hit us up at reachoverculture@gmail.com. Solid week. Everybody caught the Canelo fight last night.
Shout out Canelo.
Shout out to Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little jog.
Right. And he got a fight coming up in May. And it's crazy. The dude is just, he's damn near unbeatable. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know, bruh. Earl, if you ever watch this, you are our last hope.
Facts.
Like, you are our last hope. I don't know if you ever plan on. I saw an Earl interview where he said he plans on ending his career at 168. And, that's where Canelo is thriving now. I don't think Canelo will move past 175. he'll probably do most of his career at 168 if I had to guess. That's a huge fight in the making. That's a super fight in the making. That's because Canelo actually, and I was surprised by the amount of people they let in the arena last night.
Yeah,
15,000.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought I was watching an old Canelo fight.
Right.
There's a lot of people there, and I'm like, oh snap! No,
15,000, 15,000 in Miami, and so, I mean, that just goes to show with the vaccine and stuff going out, and the world is slowly but surely starting to open back up, like minimal by minimal. It's not opening up it's not opening up quick enough though. All right. So this week was a good week. We released season 4, which y'all have shown a lot of love. I'm gonna give y'all some credit because y'all shown a lot of love to season 4. I'm gonna give y'all some huge because we, with that one episode, that's like almost our second or third highest episode viewed.
That's crazy.
In a shorter amount of time. Now, for the people out there, it's like 50, 60 views isn't a lot. 50 to 60 views in about 4 days for us is a lot.
We'll take that.
We'll take that because that's more than the amount of subscribers that we have. So that means that y'all are tuning in, and people are getting the word out. Not only were y'all maybe y'all tuned in for the Town Pod, maybe y'all tuned in for pods before that. But shout out to everybody that supports us, and that's getting us out there, man. More content, more stuff on the way. Shout out to my guys, I appreciate it. But yeah, so this week was cool. We did the release, and everybody was feeling the photo shoot. Shout out to my man Mo. I'm gonna give my man Mo some credit for that. Thank you. And shout out to my dog Rob. Rob engineered some of that too, so that we can shout him. Atlas Media, get at him. We tag him in all the posts. My man, he's doing this thing. So Atlas Media, we get at him. We gonna be asking him more questions about that in the future. So yeah, but this week was probably one of the most irresponsible weeks that I've had in my life. I broke my phone. Well, I got water on my phone on Tuesday. Had to get that replaced. I lost my wallet on Wednesday. So I lost my debit, license, all this, that, and the third. And this is how I know the world isn't opening up quick enough. Because, you used to lose your license or go get your license renewed, go in there, pop in there, take a picture, sign out something. You got to have appointments now.
Oh, dang.
And, so I lost my wallet on Wednesday. I figured I would find it Thursday. So by Friday morning, I was like, all right, I'm going to go up and get a new driver's license and do the whole shindig. They said, anybody that's here for a driver's license or a state ID, you have to have an appointment. And all of March is booked up. So we're not going to have any appointments open till April. Yes. I was like, just to renew one or just to get a replacement? Yeah. Now, luckily, there are some that do walk-ins on certain weekends. So I did go up here to the one off of 44, a little bit past y'all, off 55th. 55th Street exit, somewhat like
that shopping center.
Yeah, shopping center, Town West, and they were doing walk-ins on this past Saturday, and they opened up at 8. I got there at 6:30. I was like fifth in line. By the time they opened up at 8, bro, it was more than 50 people in line. Gosh. And so only because everybody else, every other tag agency in Tulsa is appointment only, and you might not get an appointment until the middle of April. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So the world need to open up a little bit quicker. But now I broke my phone, lost my wallet. The crazy part is on Saturday, so yesterday, I'm up early. I got a new license. I got new debit cards. And so, you go on your Facebook Messenger. Now, it's like Instagram where they got you might get a message waiting or something if somebody is not your friend. But the thing on Facebook on the Messenger is in the top left corner, it's a small emblem. So I never noticed this. I didn't notice this all week. And so I click on that because I was just looking at some on my Messenger, and this woman had found my wallet Tuesday night.
What? That's crazy. And she found you on the Facebook.
And she found me on Facebook. She had told me Tuesday night, but I never checked my Facebook Messenger because I didn't even think to check it. And so And she still had the wallet by Saturday when I messaged her back. So I went and picked up the wallet. I gave all the cash I had in my pocket. But I couldn't even rejoice because I just got everything replaced.
Right. Like, now I got two of everything.
Now I got two of everything. So it was a good week, but a up and down week. Because, like, for men, and I know this for most men, we don't really trip on a lot. Losing a wallet is one of those things we would trip on.
It's a fact.
Because all the work you got to do to replace everything in the wallet.
Yeah, it's too much outside of the home stuff to do.
Right.
Got to go here, go there.
Right. It's too much. And then, you know, you're riding around, no license, you get stopped. It's like, hey, man, I didn't get my appointment to get a new one. It's like, hey, they not about to hear that. Oh, okay, cool. Take this ticket with you. Maybe they'll pay that for you. But shout out, man. This week was a great week for myself. Let's jump into it. This is for my brothers up north.
Getting full off that Jack Mac.
First pod back. We got another pod the back. Smack. Okay. As I was getting the new phone, I was telling y'all before the show. So I go up to AT&T and I'm asking them straight up, what's the differences in these phones? Now I'm coming from an iPhone 10, and so I got an iPhone 12. I wasn't excited about getting a new phone. Back in the G, you used to get a new phone. You was excited. Yeah. It was like, I'm lit now.
Yeah. Could wait to go to school.
Right. Could wait to go to school. So, you know what I'm saying? I was not excited about getting a new phone whatsoever, which I found pretty crazy for me, somebody who likes tech. I wasn't excited about getting a new iPhone. But it led me to think about, because the guy kept it G, he said there's not really any differences in between the 12 Pro Max, 12 Pro. It's just the camera. One got one more camera than the other one. And one's, one phone is bigger than the other phone. So I was like, but y'all still charging people $1,200? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something like that. When my 10 had the same iOS update that this phone had. So it almost looks the same. Nothing changed, but you charge me more money, and you're gonna tell me, "Oh yeah, you can do the next up plan for the $5 a month. That way, when a new iPhone come out." I wonder why y'all started doing that, because you realize ain't nothing changed.
Anybody buying it,
right?
Yeah.
So that led me to think, though, as I am a sneaker head, and so is Rob. We started to get the same thing about Jordan. It's like, I stopped buying Jordans. I haven't bought a pair of Jordans since the Metallic 5s came out. I think it was at the top of 2016. I haven't bought a pair of Jordans since then. Was that 2016 or 2017? I think it was 2017. 17? Yeah, it was 2017. That was when the Metallic 5s came out. That was the last pair of Air Jordans that I had bought. And me and Rob constantly talk about how it just never changes. He's finessing us, and he's been finessing us for a while now. So it led me to question, what company are the bigger finessers with new product, Apple or Jordan? Moses.
I think Jordan.
Okay.
Jordan finesses. Well, there's two differences between like Apple and Jordan. So you have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
So like they had like the iPhone 6, and then they upgrade. Obviously, they obviously change specs and technology or whatever with it. But I feel like a phone could do more than what a shoe can do. Because like a Jordan is just a shoe. It's just something you put on and you just walk. Like there's nothing different between like the first pair of Jordans than the Jordans today. It literally is just a shoe. But
listen. We're not gonna downplay Jordans.
I know. I'm just saying
for the light of Apple.
Yeah.
We're not going like disrespect. I'm not gonna allow you to disrespect. I'm just saying, name like which one finesse, bro. You're going a little too far. It's just a shoe. It's not just a shoe.
Yeah.
He beat the Monstars in these shoes.
Yeah, that is true.
It's not just a shoe.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, bro. Go ahead.
I think you're right. Those are Jordans.
Jordans?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jordan's for
bigger finesse.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Robert Burrow.
Jordans. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm an MJ fan, I was fortunate enough as a kid to get all the shoes, and Jordan and And I realized a lot of my peers are the same way. We had all Jordans as a kid, so now growing up, he's re-releasing the same Jordans that we had as a kid. So it's the nostalgic feel of it. So it's like, I gotta get them. But just like you, I don't buy Jordans that much anymore. Last pair I bought, I want to say it was 2 years ago, and got the 18s. Prior to that, I don't know. So it's like, Jordan is like, he's literally putting out the same shoe, the same color, and people going crazy, spending more. Because then we were spending, as a kid, of course it was cheap. You get into high school, it's like 160, 180 maybe. Now you're at 225.
Yeah.
Per Jordan nowadays.
Because they put the Nike sign on the back.
Because the Nike Airs on the back. And it's like, Jordan, come on. So I gotta say Jordan, man. He ain't doing nothing different with the OGs at least. The OG re-releases, ain't nothing changing. He been getting this for years.
Yeah. I want to say Apple. And I'm a recent, it's recency bias because obviously I just got a new phone, so I'm like more or less like, and I haven't bought a pair of Jordans in a while, so this is a product that I'm actually currently familiar with. So I want to say Apple, but I am going to concede and say that Jordan is probably the bigger finesse. Tech is ever evolving, and I unlike Jordan, I think Apple stopped trying to convince us that one phone was greater than the other.
Facts.
Because you don't see too much. Like, you remember when they first did, that had to either be the 6 or the 7, and they just, like, when they put out all the colored iPhones that you can get, and that was their, like, main push of advertising. Was that, like, the 6? It was the 5. It was the 5.
Yeah. They had like the lime green and the baby blue.
Exactly. After about the 8, I stopped seeing advertisements about iPhones.
Yeah,
it's not as great. They'll push the iPad more than they push the iPhone.
The iPad, the laptops.
Right.
They'll do that quick.
But I remember, like, up until the 5, that's all you saw. Get a new iPhone. Get the new iPhone. Get the new iPhone. You don't see that as much now. And the fact that they even AT&T implemented a next up plan where you can just upgrade whenever that shows me, like, hey, listen, we're not trying to fool y'all anymore. As long as you got the new iOS update, you all right for the most part. We're not going to sell you on the fact that it's just a new iPhone. Mm-hmm. Or the main thing that we are going to sell you is the main difference, which is the camera. This camera is better than the last camera, and that'll be the main thing they sell you.
Yeah.
But Jordans, you put out the same colorways, you regurgitate the same 11s every 4 years, and we go for it. You know what I mean? You send them to the same sneaker blog sites. You give them the same. It's no different. Nice kicks, sneakerheads, these different spots. They do the same thing that they have been doing for the last 6 or 7 years, and it's like, how to get us on these shoes, man. You know what athletes and what celebrities to put the hands of these shoes in, and put the shoes in these hands, and that people are going to see them and hype beasts are going to get them. Like, you're still feeding off of the hype beasts. So Jordan still finds a way to try to finesse us, and I will agree. As much as I want to say Apple, I'm going to say Jordan tries to finesse us with new product all the time. And shout out to Bam Adebayo as well. Just signed with Team Jordan, so shout out to Bam as well.
It's a big move.
It's a big move, yes sir. Mm-hmm. Yes sir. I think yeah. That became official a few days ago. Shout out to Bam. All right, so next one. Next question. What was the next question? I'm looking up. I got it.
I remember the third question, but
I actually went out of order, so that's my fault. So, questions that need answering. If your life had a theme song, what would it be?
This was kind of hard for me because I know a lot of songs,
crazy.
But I would say
that was a little crazy, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
the choice was pretty difficult for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
that's better.
Yeah.
That's better.
I think what's it called? I think it was a song by Nav. I forgot what.
Did you write it down?
No, I just saw it. Like, it's just in my head. I think it's like All on Me or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know, but
it's called what?
I Oh no, it's not on Spotify.
What's it called?
Oh man, what is it?
Bruh.
Take Me Simple. Take Me Simple.
Take Me Simple.
Yeah, it was one of his very first songs on SoundCloud. Like whenever nobody knew about him.
Okay.
The reason why is because Nav, like I guess growing up, like he was just kind of bullied and nobody really knew much about him. I guess he was just kind of that underdog. And he talked about and those old songs talk about like his struggles.
Yeah.
And like what he wants to like talks about his dreams and all that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something I could relate to.
Okay. Nav. Let's see. Honestly, even though I posed this question, I had a tough time like figuring out theme song for life. I mean,
it's difficult.
It's very difficult, and we had a few days to ponder on it in the process. Man, I'm if I had to say a theme song for my life, I don't know. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's tough. It's tough, bro. It's tough. And I've been thinking about this for the last few days, and I just really could not honestly. I couldn't honestly pick one. I'll probably say because it's not. It's just based off of what your life is. It's not necessarily your favorite song.
Yeah. I guess something you can relate to.
Something you can relate to. I'll probably say Jay, on to the next one, because I'm just always moving on from stuff. You know, life, like my life has been a series of things that's came and went, so just constantly moving on, whether it be my parents were in the army, moving from one place to the next, settling in New Orleans, Katrina happening, moving here, moving back, coming back here, going to Dallas, coming back here, you know, being married, out of that, in another relationship. Like, I'm just always like moving forward. I've moved to 50 million different places, lived in 50 million different places in the last 4 or 5 years. So I'm just always moving on to the next, trying to move on to the next thing. So I'll probably say Jay-Z, on to the next one. All right, Robbie Rob.
I'm have to say Nipsey Hussle. He had a song in 2010 called Grind Mode, and I feel like I've always been just in a constant grind, from childhood to beating the odds, and changing my life, getting married, having a kid. Like, I feel like I'm just always grinding to continue to be better and not be complacent with like where I'm at, because where I'm at now, and on the outside looking in, I could just accept this and just not pursue to be better at all, and this would be good, because from what I was, this is it. But just having to always grind and not get complacent. So I have to say Nipsey Hussle, Grind Mode.
I like that. And that's a great segue to the main topic of what we're talking about. So, real life question. What are some of the things that you guys do when you're feeling stuck in your purpose? When you're feeling stuck in your life or your purpose, or I'll start. One of the, I forgot how this how I even came up with this, or where it spawned from, but no, as a matter of fact, I was talking with another guy who does a podcast, and we were just talking about people that just have ample time to just do stuff, just like, you just got ample time to just do whatever you want to do, right? And these are some of the same people that struggle, like, oh, I don't know my purpose, or I know my purpose, but it's just hard to move in my purpose, so I feel stuck in my life, or what have you. And I was like, yo, if I had as much time as some people had, and it's easy to say now because now I have a more sense of what my purpose is, but I'm like, yo, for all the ample time that some people have, even during this whole pandemic, you know, whether you've gotten unemployment or you've been able to just finesse off the stimulus checks or whatever the case is, it's like a lot of people have had a lot of ample time to do a lot of self-evaluation, self-assessment, and a lot of thinking and have that come to Jesus moment where you have the time to figure out what it is that you're supposed to be doing right now. And some people have figured it out, some people haven't, but either way, we still are here, and I'm still having multiple conversations with people that might feel stuck in what they're doing. So yeah, thinking about some of the things, so that's what I want to get into. Some of the things that, you know, we may do that when we feel stuck in our purpose. One of the things that I do is I remember who gave me the purpose first. You know, God gives you your purpose. You know, it says in Jeremiah that he knew that he has plans for you, plans for good, not to harm you. But he knew his plans for you prior to you even being here. You know, that's the God that we serve. And I always try to remember, like, who gave me my purpose first. That's one of the ways, that's one of the things that I first do when I feel like stuck, when I feel like I'm not moving. And I feel like the podcast isn't growing as fast. And I feel like I should be further on in life. If I should have finished school, if I should have finished this. One of the first things that I do is I remember who gave me the purpose first. What's one of the first things that y'all do whenever y'all are feeling stuck in y'all purpose?
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
I was going to say remember.
Mm-hmm.
I guess remember what God told you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, obviously God doesn't lie. And whatever he says
right.
is going to come to pass.
Right.
I feel like for me, whenever I feel stuck or frustrated, I just go back to the place where God gave me that like confirmation. Or,
you go back to like the physical place?
No, like just like
mental place.
Yeah, the mental place, that space I was in, where I was, you know, grounded in God. I kind of remember, like, okay, well, he said this, so I'm still gonna believe it in faith and still gonna keep going forward.
Sure.
You know, I mean, every a place that you're in is a season. You know, nothing's gonna last forever where you're at. There's always something new forward that God has in front of you.
I like that.
Fire. For me, piggybacking on God, but kind of changing the direction I hang around the friends that he's given me. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have guys like Raheem, who has a podcast and who's just a creator and who's able to just spark conversation and really have you thinking. You know, I got guys like Paris who can make a song in his sleep, who I've watched. Like, we were able to live together for like 2-3 years, and I was able just to watch him make a full album, watch his work ethic. I got guys like Matt. I got guys like Mikey Mangum. I got a lot of guys who are in my life who they're all like God sent. Like, I haven't known any of them since high school. You know, like everybody who I'm cool with now, I met after high school, and they were all like, I feel like they're all God sent, but they all have a gift that they present to the world, and just being able to have friends that's creators of some sort. Like, it keeps me reminded that, you know, we all have something to give. So that's one of the first things that I do, is just put myself in that atmosphere of creatives and of people that are driven for, you know, purpose. Yeah,
and I like that. That was actually another one of my points. The second thing I do is I assess the course. Like, so you remember who gave you this plan first, and then I take a landscape of what exactly it is I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm actually doing in real life. Am I following and doing every single thing that God has instructed me to do? Because if I'm frustrated or if I'm feeling complacent, 9 times out of 10, I know for me personally, I tried to skip a step. I tried to do something out of order, and it's crazy. Like, in Oklahoma, or just in general, like, you might have a block, you might have a Quick Trip here, Walmart here, you might have a full mile block of just a bunch of businesses and stuff like that. it would take you longer to cut through all of these businesses and shortcut your way across a square versus just going around the square. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I found that like even as a kid walking around places and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's on the other side of the street. I'm gonna just cut through these buildings, and you find yourself in a maze, and then you find yourself stuck in a maze because you're trying to get through the maze and take shortcuts when in reality it was just taking you longer just to go from here, just to go straight, make a right. You trying to cut through all these different places to get to the other side. And so assessing the course, I try to assess the course. What am I doing? What am I doing for me, and what am I doing that God actually called me to do? I missed a step. I skipped something. I tried to do it my way, and so now I'm frustrated when things don't look the way I wanted to look. When the purpose of even when the purpose of the course I'm even playing, it wasn't created by me. It was created by something else. It's like Tiger Woods going and trying to skip hole 1 to get the hole 5. Bro, you didn't create that course. You were called to play that course, but you didn't create it. Like, you can win on it, but you have to play the course the way it's presently constructed, not make the course what you wanted to make it. So I try to assess the course, and one of the ways that I would, and one of the scriptures I wrote for that was actually, it's a Solomon writing in Proverbs 12:15, and it's the ESV version. It says, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. So that goes a lot to what Rob was saying about being around people that's creative, and not only just being around people, but taking in advice from people as well. How difficult is it for you guys to take advice in the seasons that you feel stuck in life? Like, is that difficult as men? Is it difficult for you to take advice or to seek advice, or is it easy? And if it's difficult, what makes it difficult?
I think it's easy to take advice for me. I always feel like my first response is to ask someone who's much wiser than me. Mm-hmm. I think the hardest part of doing is actually doing or applying the advice. Because like, you can go to like multiple people, like, hey, I need help with this and this. But if you don't listen or actually take action, you're just going to be in the same place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, brother.
Yeah.
Taking advice is pretty easy, because I always ask somebody that, like, whose opinion I value. Mm-hmm. So, I don't just ask a random person or anything like that. I always just ask somebody in my corner who I know has, like, not only the knowledge to answer, but they have my best interest at heart as well. So, yeah, taking advice is always easy. Most hit it right on the head, where it's like the hardest thing is actually applying that and like being intentional and making that your priority. Yeah.
What's another key that one of y'all would have as far as when you feel stuck in the season? What's something else that y'all would do to whenever you feeling stuck?
I think revalue, kind of pause, kind of reevaluate how you're like just look around, like what kind of people you have around, what gifts are inside of you that you can do, what you can give. I don't know, just like kind of pause and just kind of see what you could do, as in like I don't know, just reevaluate.
Yeah, reevaluate everything.
Yeah.
Rob, another key?
Yeah, something else I always did with being a videographer and photographer. I've been doing both for like 8+ years, but I had my years where I just didn't care to advertise. So when I did start to advertise, I found myself getting stuck. And what I it was something that God told me to do was I would always do something. I would always start something, but I would never finish it. So in order to get out of my stuck moments with being a creative, like just go to the last project that I started and that I just stopped for whatever reason and finish it. Yeah. Like actually finish that project and then either put it out for like the world to see if it's good enough, or just finish it for myself. Because if I continue to start and stop and start and stop, then I'm gonna keep getting stuck at some point in my purposes and in my passion and what I do. So,
do you find it's that's a hard habit to break? Have you found that?
As a creative, and when I say creative, I'm specifying like music or photos or videos, even podcasts. Like I feel like that's though in those specific areas, because you have to constantly create new. Mm-hmm. Like you have to create something new, and if not new, you have to make it look different every time. Yeah. Like you can't just like kind of like Jordan and the iPhone. You can't just put out the same product every time and expect it to just blow up. Like like Jordan and iPhone are in unique situations to where it just so happen to work. You know what I'm saying? But like bringing it back to us, like we always have to create something new or something intriguing. So I feel like getting stuck is honestly a part of a creative in my field. So I think that's a normal thing. As long as you have your ways to get out of it, then you'll continue to grow.
And I would agree with both of y'all, man. Reevaluating and finishing what you started. I like that a lot, because I had to get into that habit as well. Like you just, whether it's a simple project that you just like any little thing. If I start eating a cereal bar, I need to finish that. Like, because you'll find a lot of people, they struggle with that thing, with that very thing in all aspects of life, not just what they're doing creatively. Mm-hmm. They struggle with that in, things that they're doing around the crib, or taking care of their car, taking care of their finances, or, they might start paying off a debt and then lose sight of that and stop paying it off, or, in their marriage. You might start off doing, you hear the old adage about dudes doing stuff to get the woman, but not doing the same things to keep the woman. Constantly not finishing. But then you start to feel stuck in your marriage. It's like, what am I doing wrong? What did you stop doing? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a very good key, right? Like, anything that you feel like you're stuck in, like what did you leave off? Again, not skipping steps. Mm-hmm. Like you supposed to do that, 10 times over before you feel stuck. Anytime I felt stuck in this pod or stuck, creating, it's like, what are you skipping steps for? Like, or what step did you try to skip? You know what I mean? Like, what viral moment are you looking for? Or did I tell you just to put out content and the numbers will come, these things will come? Just continue to put out content instead of looking for the viral moment. Or looking for the thing that's just going to make you an overnight success, because nothing worth keeping is overnight. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So that's a good one, Rob. My last key for things that I do when I'm feeling stuck is once I went back to the person that gave me the purpose, and I've assessed the course, reevaluated what I'm doing, then you got to make a decision to stay the course. And I sent the key scriptures to y'all. For Philippians 12 through 13. And this is Paul writing to the church of Philippi. He's in jail at this moment. And that was a lot of what spawned this conversation for me, because as I'm reading, I'm like, man, if there's ever a moment to feel stuck, it's going from being a free man to a prison man. And jail at this time isn't just like jail as we know it today. These guys are chained up to walls. They're in deep, dark corners with a little lantern that, they may not see daylight for days on end. As a matter of fact, they don't see daylight for days on end. They don't get rec time, and they get their food handed to them, and sometimes a guard will play games and put the food where they know you can't get to it because you chained up to a wall. So Paul's in this type of prison. Mm-hmm. He's not in the regular modern day jail that we know here in the States. And so if there's ever a person to feel stuck, it would be the Apostle Paul. But yet he's still writing, he's still moving in his purpose, doing what he has to do, whether he gets a meal or not. And so I'll get to the before we wrap up, I'll read 4:12. This is a Philippians. This is Philippians 4, and we're gonna start at 12 because a lot of people go to 4:13, but they skip 12. He says, I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. That's the NIV version. And so hearing that, the church of Philippi sending him all his gifts and this, that, and the third, and he's like, yo, this is dope. Thank you. But you don't have to send these. I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I know what it is to be free. I know what it is to be in jail. But I'm not going to allow this, like, if there's anybody that can have the excuse of feeling stuck in their purpose, I'm not going to let any of this stop me. Whether I have a little, have a lot, whether I have all my resources, none of my resources, I'm not going to allow that to not allow me to move forward in purpose. So my third point, or my third key for whenever I'm feeling stuck, is to make a decision to stay the course. Not only assess it, but stay it. I mean, being athletes or whoever, that's the number one thing, is you got to decide that you want to do this. And so when I talk to people that might feel stuck in their purpose, I'm like, well, you got to have the battle won. You know what your purpose is, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what my purpose is. Okay. Through rain, sleet, or snow, now it's just a decision on whether you're going to walk that thing out or not. Now it's up to you. I have more empathy for people that know their that don't know their purpose, that might be new to what God is doing with them and trying to figure it out, versus people that know and just haven't made a conscious decision to follow what God has called them to do. It's like, you got the plan, you just don't want to walk out that plan. I can't feel but so bad for you. It's like, you got to make a decision to stay the course. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. That's my third point. To that, if y'all have any other, keys or to answer to that, or, how do y'all feel?
I think you said it perfectly. It's like, you can be in the worst stuck place, but you really got to stick to it. Just keep doing the work that, God's called you to do. I mean, it's just, what you're saying, just how Paul was still, he was in jail, and he was still writing to the church, and still being faithful, and still, have the same love for God. And, what he was writing doesn't sound like he's very angry or anything. He's very joyful and very, very positive of where he's at, especially since he's in the place that he's literally stuck. He still has a positive mindset, and that's what's making his, his journey less. That's
good, bro.
Less crappier, I guess. It's just it literally is your mindset in that situation.
Check. Yeah, something else I would add on to that with Paul is like you said, like most people skip to 13, where it says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Like one thing, like a lot of people take that context, take that scripture out of context. Mm-hmm. And what people don't realize is Paul's able to do all things through Christ that God has called Paul to do. So it's like, don't take that out of context and think, man, I can go make a podcast, or I can go and be a physical trainer. I can go and be like, that's not what he's saying. He's saying anything he has put in your possession, he's put in your heart to do, you can do that through him. But you can't go and do something and just put his name on it and expect it to show fruit, So just make sure whatever you're doing through Christ is something that he's actually called you to do, and something that he's put in your heart and he's giving you a passion for. So
that's a major key. Y'all two just dropped, I think two of the major keys in this whole pod: mentality, your mindset, deciding to stay positive, deciding to just rain, sleet, or snow, I'm going to keep my mindset on this. And then, that's a bar. Like, just because you can do all things that you were called to do, knowing your purpose, knowing what you were called to do. Mm-hmm. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and you still trying to make it in the NBA at 30.
It's a fact.
I feel like a lot of people just see, I can do all things.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact. And I think that's why that scripture hit me so much. That's an amazing point, Rob. Like, that's an amazing point, because a lot of people miss that. I missed it for the longest. I'm like, that meant all things. It's like, no, that don't mean all things.
But it's sad because the church preaches that, you know, like, so that's
prosperity.
That's why, like, you have to know God for yourself, because the church isn't for you to know God. The church is just a gathering for you to worship God and get around community. But like, you have to know God, right? Crazy. Like, you have to know God for yourself first. That way, like, you can decipher what's for you through scripture, through like sermons and messages and all that. So, yeah.
Shout out to Rob. He just improvised. One of our joints got a loose screw. Shout out to Rob. He's an improviser. He's gotten great at this podcast thing. That's a fact. My dog's an improviser.
Yeah, I would have never knew.
Never knew. That was a great talk, gentlemen, man. Thank you guys for your insight and your input. 2021, man. Find your purpose. Love your purpose. Stay in your purpose, man. You know, times are rough, and you know, one of the last places that you want to be in this current moment in time is not knowing exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing in this moment in time. So we would encourage you here at the Reach Over Culture podcast. We're going to continue to walk in our purpose as individuals, as well as a collective. But we encourage you to find yours as well. Don't feed into the lie that you look, man. Just because rappers look like they're getting a lot of money don't mean that you should rap. It's not the easy way out.
And it don't mean they're getting a lot of money.
Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? Just because, you get a cool highlight reel and it get 5,000 on the Instagram, be well aware in high school. Be well aware as if those hoop dreams are going to make it or not. Like, and that'd be the thing with athletes too. You know whether you got what it takes to, already. Most athletes already know if they can compete on the highest level. Instead of killing yourself to get to the highest level, maybe it's coaching, maybe it's training, maybe it's something else. Like, open your mindset up to things. Have a plan A, plan B, plan C in case, shoot for the league. Fine. Have something. Have a cloud to land on in case the league don't happen, But all in all, I mean, I think what these guys said was amazing. Having the mindset, having the mentality, like, I can do all things, but in the things that I'm graced to do is amazing, guys. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this helped you if you're feeling stuck in your purpose, which a lot of our generation is. A lot of our generation feel like we can credit that to social media. We can credit that everybody telling us what's lit and what's not to do. I mean, the fact that people have found themselves doing some of the craziest stuff, going around pranking people, like almost getting shot, doing dumb stuff just to get some views on YouTube,
just to get a check.
It's like, bro, what is your purpose?
Yeah,
like, what are you called here to do? I don't think it's that. I don't think it's going around telling random thugs like, hey, you want to fade, and then pulling out some clippers. As funny as that is, you about to get beat up.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, people, a lot of our generation is suffering because they don't know the purpose that they were called to do. And so hopefully we gave y'all some keys. This has been a Reach Over Culture podcast. Any other thing? Anything else from y'all? Any?
Not from me.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Another successful podcast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week of the Reach Over Culture podcast. I am Rock. That is Moses. That is Rob.
Here.
Subscribe, rate, and review. Hit the subscribe button at the bottom of this video. Donate to donate. You can Cash App Reach Over Culture. We're going to continue to do what we do. Love, peace, and blessings. We out.